All right, guys, we have another big update on Stop Killing Games. This is by Accursed Farms. Let's go check this out, man.
Hey, I have some announcements on Stop Killing Games. And I'm going to be looking away a lot because my mind tends to go blank when I look into the camera. And
Yeah,
I don't want to memorize this.
I do the same thing. I hate looking at the camera. I just feel weird, all right? You know what I mean? If you watch my videos, I naturally do not look at the camera. When I do, I'm trying to make an emphasis on something.
Okay, the breaking news.
Okay,
The
here we go.
European Citizens Initiative has crossed 1 million signatures.
Dude, and we have a month to go. They're just going to keep on piling up on this shit. That's crazy.
Except it hasn't.
What?
This is going to kill morale, but there are two things going on here. The first we knew was coming. Every time somebody makes a mistake when they sign the initiative, their signature gets invalidated. So that means we need more signatures to make up for everybody's mistakes.
So what's the new total number at? Right? Or is it just gonna act? Is this gonna always count the invalid ones? You know, in the final total. So you just got to keep on piling them up. And how many could be like invalid?
Kind of reminds me of
fuck?
multiplayer games when you see somebody who just has no idea what they're doing, like they're attacking a wall or something.
Oh, jeez.
So in this case, we need to pick up the slack for the people who literally can't write their own name properly.
Is there an age limit to signing this petition? I hope there's not. I really hope there's not.
That could be a lot.
Yeah.
I've heard
Oh, boy.
10% minimum.
100,000 people don't know how to fucking write their names. There's no way, bro. Because like when you sign this, I'm assuming, because this is like obviously dealing with government, right? I'm assuming they're asking for like some kind of address and you know your actual name and everything. Because they have to know that you're a citizen of Europe, right? How would
20% is better.
20%, 40%, bro? Ain't no fucking way. The only way there's 40% if there's like bad actors and people are like, oh shit, I just put your tinfoil hat on for a second. What if people were mad about the backlash against the backlash, right? Because there's bad actors out there that try not being bad actors, but people that have a different perspective on Stop Killing Games and maybe don't agree with it, right? Obviously, you have someone like Pirate Software come out, go against it, and that kind of reignited the flame. A lot of people reacted to it lately, and it's been pushing forward. And, what if someone, that wanted to see Stop Killing Games actually be killed, actually fail, went out of the way? I don't even know how you would do this. You would have to, like, I know you can, like, bot viewers, and you can bot likes, like SoundCloud and shit like that, and probably Twitch and other stuff, and you can scalp stuff too. Yeah, it's some kind of robotic thing or setting up bots, but I don't know much about that. But what if you botted the signatures? I don't know if that's even possible because I'm assuming they asked for a bunch of different like actual like like information, and then I mean, you could maybe get away with like a VPN or something like that. I don't know. Because I remember I tried to use a VPN to like watch, I think it was in the UK, the Peaky Blinders before it came out, like a day earlier, some shit like that, right? And it asked me for like my residential stuff and like this, just stuff that America doesn't even fucking have. It was weird. So I don't know.
20% should be really safe.
That's crazy.
Or
40?
it would be, but we have a second problem. I've received
is
several
that?
reports of people claiming to spoof signatures on the initiative site.
Is that what I just talked about?
First off, I want to say that this is not a change.org petition. This is a government process.
Ooh.
Spoofing signatures on it is a crime.
Ooh, get
Please
'em.
do not do this.
Uh-oh.
They'll be checked later by the EU Commission, and my guess is the fake ones will get turned over to Europol or Interpol, and they'll follow up on this.
What?
If it's coming from America,
Wait. What's the punishment for that? I'm curious about this shit, bro. Like, I feel like they wouldn't enforce that at all. I think it's smart for him to say that, right? Because, like, if people are bad actors and they're hearing this, okay, like, scare them off, right? Let me ask, ChatGPT. If there's a petition in Europe, right, for Stop Killing Games, and someone spoofs signatures and does fake signatures and bots it, so there's a bunch of like bloated, invalid signatures. and Interpol finds out who it is and stuff like that, what type of punishment and enforcement is applied to a situation like that? Because I have no idea. That's why I like fucking chat. I love AI, because if you have a fucking question that you have no way of like actually writing out on the internet and actually getting a good answer, you just ask this motherfucker, and you might get something close. You might get something stupid. Let's hear what they gotta say real quick. Why not? You know, let them talk. I don't even have to talk in
All
this.
right, let's break this down carefully because it's a
Yep.
layered scenario involving European petition law, electronic fraud, and international policing, Interpol. 1. What law is actually broken? In Europe, the seriousness depends on where the petition was filed and what its legal weight is. If it's
Okay.
an informal petition, like an online change.org style campaign, faking signatures is dishonest, but not necessarily a crime on its own. There's usually no direct legal penalty, but it might violate terms of service or civil fraud laws. If it's an official petition, like an EU Citizens Initiative,
Yep,
then
that's what
forging
it is.
signatures could be document fraud, which is a criminal offense.
Ooh.
Submitting forged signatures to an official authority is usually prosecuted under forgery, fraud, or false declaration laws.
Oh, they gonna get your ass.
What's the punishment for forging signatures in Europe?
Probably more than Diddy's getting.
Punishments vary by country. In the EU, forging official signatures can lead to fines and prison time. For example, under German law, Page 267 StGB, forgery of documents, you can get up to 5 years in prison. In
Damn.
France or Italy, similar document fraud carries up to a few years imprisonment and fines. If the forgery causes material harm, e.g., misusing funds, manipulating democratic processes, it can be treated even more seriously.
Uh-oh.
3. Where does Interpol come in? Interpol itself doesn't arrest or prosecute. It's a coordination tool. If the fraud crosses borders, say the forger is in one EU country, but the petition targets an EU body, or it affects multiple states, then the country where the fraud happened could request an Interpol notice to help locate the suspect if they flee abroad.
Okay, I don't care
Local
about this.
law enforcement in the
I want to know the maximum punishment. Okay, depending on any country in Europe, right? Because this is the EU initiative. What is the harshest possible punishment from any of the countries? This is where the good part starts, right? You get to actually know the weight of the situation. Okay. What? Okay, Germany is up to 5 years in prison. France is up to 3. Italy is up to 1 to 6. Netherlands is 6. Poland is 5. Yeah. So 6 is the harshest, right? So we got Italy and there was another 6, wasn't there? Italy, and the Netherlands. I wouldn't expect the Netherlands. That's interesting. You know, they seem like really peaceful people. Maybe that's why they're so peaceful. You know, they keep people in check.
If it's coming from America, Interpol is known to cooperate a lot with the FBI.
I doubt. That's probably the least likely situation for anyone to get punished if they're in America, in my opinion. But you know what? I think it's most likely that if there is some kind of botting system going on with the signatures to negatively impact and kind of bloat and make it look like there's more votes than there actually is, it's probably coming from America. Because, I mean, I'm thinking of all the content creators I know that I've talked about it. I guess Mudahar is probably one of the only ones that it's not in America, right?
Now, will they prosecute people on this?
And the reason I'm saying that, not because of the creators, but because of the audience. Predominantly, usually, the audience of the creator is in their own country. I don't know with Mudahar, though. I feel like a lot of people watch him in America.
I have no idea.
He's in Canada, if you didn't know.
Europe takes its political processes pretty seriously, so I would think the more it's being spoofed, the more they might send law enforcement after people doing this.
Maybe.
Again, I would not suggest doing this.
No.
It seems like
It would be cool, though, if this does happen, if this is happening, it would be... Imagine the fucking content. Imagine the fucking drama of someone actually getting caught or arrested. And what if it was like, bro... I'm not even going to say it, dude. You know what I'm thinking.
a bad thing to risk
There
going
ain't
to
no
prison
way.
over.
Yeah.
But the problem here is I am now in a complete fog as to how much this affects the initiative. Now don't worry, none of this will invalidate the initiative. All legitimate signatures will still count. But
Good.
that 1 million number, yeah, it might not be real. I think we
That's
have at least
crazy.
600, 700,000 real signatures. Beyond that,
Wait, what happens if you're just a dumbass and you just like, or just didn't like reread everything, right? And you put your name in wrong or some kind of information wrong, but you submitted, right? Are you able to resubmit? You know, or did you just waste your shot?
I don't know.
Oh,
Maybe
boy.
it's just 1 or 2 people who tried it, and this is nothing to worry about.
That'd be nice.
Or maybe
I feel like that's more realistic, right? Because who the fuck is gonna go out of their way and try to negatively impact this shit with a fake signature? That's just too much. Like, I get if you don't like agree with this and have a different perspective, that's normal, bro. Just speaking your mind. Who gives a fuck about that? It's good to speak your mind and say your truth. But who the fuck is gonna go out of their way to try to weaponize their self? Like, you know what I
it's a
mean?
sophisticated botnet spoofing hundreds of thousands of signatures.
I
have
doubt
no
it.
clue. In fact, I noticed
hope
a few
not.
days ago we were getting a good rise in the day European time, but then it would fall off a lot at night because
makes
people
sense.
were going to bed.
Yeah.
Now it seems like it's rising a lot through the night. So maybe most of this is an illusion now.
Wait, what?
We may not have won anything. I have to give credit where it's due.
That's not good. That is not good. I mean, the only reason I would see why that could make sense is like the weekends, maybe. But obviously, if he's getting information, he probably understands like the, you know, weekends versus weekdays for percentages and stuff like that. Maybe he doesn't. I don't know. But you would assume, you know, like because a lot of American YouTubers are talking about this in general. So like if people are in Europe and they're staying up to 2 a.m. or 4 a.m. or whatever it might be, early in the morning, and they're watching American YouTubers, maybe it kind of makes sense, but I do think that's a big red flag.
I was looking forward to reaching a safe margin and putting this behind me. But now I guess I have to keep this up until July 31st because now there's no such thing as a safe margin.
Jesus.
I have no idea what's real now.
Oh, poor guy.
So, for people who hate the initiative, you got me. This makes my life harder, and now I'm on the hook even longer. I will be so happy for this campaign to end. Actually, if you're really good at data analysis, I'd say try to look at those first couple days around June 24th and 25th, especially when Moist Critical dropped his video.
3.3 million views. You can't see it because I crop out the bottom, because I don't like you seeing like the fucking little scroll thing. But
I remember
damn.
seeing about a 5% increase in
lot.
signatures proportional to his views.
You would think that 3.3 million views means that you easily can get 3.3 million signatures, but obviously not all of them are in America or in Europe.
So it might be safe to assume big YouTube views translate to 5% real signatures. Maybe you can figure out what our real margin needs to be.
No idea.
So yeah, that sucks. We'll just keep plodding away unless we can figure out what the safe numbers are. Sorry this isn't a big victory celebration. This is just...
This is actually very smart by him, because like if you have second doubts and you're like involved in a really big project, it is good to speak that and make sure everything is transparent as possible when you're in charge of a project like this. Like I've worked with a bunch of project managers and stuff like that on big projects before, and I've seen different people act in different ways, and when there's a situation that comes up towards the finish line, there's a big project, it takes a long time to get done, and people are excited to be finished with it. Sometimes there's hiccups towards the end where people get nervous about, maybe there being a big issue. And there's some people that will try to keep that to themselves because they don't want to worry the customer and not make a big fuss and do a little bit of hard communication because obviously they're not going to be happy and pleased with that situation that might be possible. But those situations, if you keep to yourself, can snowball, and then you might even have a bigger problem than you even thought was possible, which can piss off a fucking homeowner or whoever might be, a customer or whatever it might be. When you're when you're trying to finish the job. And it's the same situation here. He's being transparent, and all this is going to do is breathe fire into the movement. Just keep on pushing. You know, if you're in Europe, keep on signing this. Tell your Europe buddies, tell your mom, tell your, granny. Because, in the situations with the video game industry, we have a lot of issues in general, obviously, because, a lot of people that are in charge of making laws and stuff like that, they're a little older. They probably didn't play a lot of Halo 3 or Halo CE. They know of Pac-Man and Galka and stuff like that, maybe. But you might think to yourself, well, it's technology. There's good laws everywhere for technology, and they just got to progress and get better. That is not the case. I mean, technology in general, there's a lot of regulations that are piss poor. And I mean, everyone uses a phone. Everybody uses a computer. These are items that are necessary to daily life for a lot of occupations, a lot of jobs, and a lot of different ages. So these are more understood by the masses. Video games are a luxury item in the basis. It is completely a technology, an art form that isn't even understood by the wide majority. It is not at all. People think of video games as a time killer, as the thing that kids waste their lives on. People blame generations for failing and being stupid and whatever it might be because of video games. It's a negatively looked at art form, but it is a art form in itself, and it's actually superior art form to a lot of art in general or movies in certain ways, right? I'm not going to say one's better than the other, but there are key things that I think are greater and more impactful with video games. So you have this art form that's not understood because of the age gap, because of the generation gap. And even if this gets passed into Parliament or the Europe, I don't even know what they call the courts there, into the people that make the laws, they're not going to even understand the problem to begin with. So it's going to be, even the outcome itself will be very, very interesting to see if they accept it, if they don't accept it, how they're going to deal with the situation as a whole. It's good in general that this is getting noise, it's getting traction, it's getting a spotlight, because maybe this doesn't get resolved and video games keep on fucking dying, right? Maybe that happens. But guess who's going to understand this a little bit more? Our generation, or the generation above you. There's going to be a lot more education and understanding and just know what this is. Oh, I've heard about that before. I mean, it's good that this is happening because there's so many fucking issues with preservation and a lot of different things with video games. It's very corrosive. The industry is cannibalizing itself for the longest time. I'm talking and I'm ranting. Jesus Christ, I'm just worked up, bro. If you're in Europe, please go sign this motherfucker.
Kind of suspenseful and tense instead, and will probably hurt morale of people signing. Mm-hmm. You know how in World War II the Japanese had soldiers entrenched in a bunch of Pacific islands?
Yeah.
Except some of them never got the memo when the war ended in 1945, so they just stayed there for years, assuming the war was still on.
Let me guess. That's how you feel.
That's kind of where I am right now mentally.
Yep.
At least it all ends in a month.
Poor guy, man.
Okay,
no, for real. At least we know the end date. Like, imagine if you didn't know the end date, this could just be dragged out or just thrown under the rug and shit like that. Oof.
Announcement.
Yikes.
We've gotten reports that some countries, I think Italy and Belgium especially, where sometimes the digital ID system didn't work. In those cases, I'd say either use the manual method, which we have instructions for on StopKillingGames.com, or you could try coming back in a few days and see if it's working. Another news item, I've been
Italy
told
get that 6
someone
years.
has launched a cryptocurrency based on Stop
What?
Killing Games. Dumbest timeline, guys.
Bro, what if this, like, okay, I don't think this is, I don't think someone would actually weaponize bots to create fake signatures. I think that's a reach. I'm really hoping that this threshold of invalid signatures is very small. I'm hoping for the best. Prepare for the worst though. But if there is a bot system out there that's someone's weaponizing it, I guarantee you, or not guarantee, it would be ironic if it was the same person that made the fucking crypto coin, because this motherfucker's trying to capitalize it, obviously. Like, and there are people, like, they know their customer base. There's some people in the video game industry love crypto, a lot of people do, and a lot of people in the, or some people in the video game industry like NFTs, because I remember back in the day when NFTs were the craze, they were popping. before that one guy got his stolen. And there's people, like, I remember Twitter had like these group chats you could join. They might still have them. I don't fucking know. But I was in one and we were debating, and this guy was like, we're going to talk about NFTs and video games because I think this is a very interesting and great idea, and it could bring a lot more money to video games in general. It was the fucking stupidest shit, bro. These motherfuckers really were considering having NFTs and video games as a good idea. Motherfucker, bro, I swear to God, that motherfucker, it's just such a retard take, bro.
Just so everyone's clear, that had nothing to do with us. I have no clue who would even want that. I'm sure it's a scam. So, yeah, that's all there is to it.
Yeah, they pumping and dumping that bitch.
Something else to cover quick is I've heard a couple reports of people harassing pirate software.
Oh, Jesus.
I feel like this goes without saying, but if it doesn't...
It goes without saying, guess he doesn't look. Yeah, I don't endorse harassing. I hate that YouTubers and fucking content creators and streamers in general have to do this bullshit, you know. But the reason they have to do it, they have to protect themselves because look how certain fucking websites are being managed these days. Like, look at Twitch right now, bro. This shit's fucking crazy. I think today or maybe it was yesterday. I don't fucking know, dude. No, I'm not even gonna do it. I don't give a fuck. It's just drama. But the way they fucking manage that shit is fucking crazy to me, man. Like, if you don't agree with their politics, they don't give a fuck. They're gonna give you the harshest fucking punishment. But if you're part of the team, they'll look past that shit. You know, they'll close their eyes. They don't give a damn.
No. Of course we do not endorse harassing him.
Obviously.
I mean, I said in my response video, I wished him no ill will, and I meant that. You know why? When people's lives are better, they tend to be less inclined to foment some sort of revenge.
True.
And I'm taking on enough heat already without adding to the pile.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm getting some crazies heading my way, too. Though I can believe it's...
I feel like most of it's positive. Like, I haven't seen one video of someone negatively talking about stop killing games. Maybe that's because my perspective and how the algorithm is pushing content towards me. I don't know. The only one I've ever seen is Pirate Software when he's talking bad against it. I mean, back when he first talked about it, I know there's a lot of Twitter rumblings and stuff like that. But I mean, like, actual big videos that are being pushed to me, that's the only fucking thing. And that's always just, you know, people reacting to what he said in general and talking how about it's wrong and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like, I haven't seen any other big creator or big video in my timeline or my feed in general that is going against this. So I really think majority of this should be love going to this guy.
It's not as many. I also pointed out last time, whatever damage Thor did to the campaign has been neutralized. So whatever happens is not on him anymore.
He actually sparked this shit, bro. Like, for real. Like, if you think about, like, Star Wars Andor and Season 2 and I forgot his name. The father, the rebellion, for lack of better names. He had the iconic saying to Cassian where he was like, hey, bro, we got to make them, you know, go crazy. Even though they can't support themselves, who gives a fuck? They'll burn, and they'll burn bright, and everyone's gonna notice. You know what I mean? They had to have a martyr. Shit.
I'll also say, I don't know what the hell everyone is up to either. This is a lot bigger than me. I can barely keep up with the campaign,
I bet.
let alone him or all the supporters. We do have moderators in our Discord trying their best. I've literally seen them ban someone suggesting bad action against others.
What?
Beyond that, I know very little and have even less control over what the rest of the internet is up to.
Everybody wants to be a fucking hero, bro. Who the fuck is in the Discord being like, oh, I'll go get him?
I'm focused on the signatures. If Thor and I never bother each other again, that is just fine by me.
Yeah.
I also don't hold him responsible for anything his fan base does. I'm not a fan of collective punishment. And on the flip side, Stop Killing Games is a populist movement. That's the very definition of messy. I can control that like I can control the weather. Oh, and speaking of barely keeping up, I've been having to play triage on emails and messages.
What the fuck is triage? I'm sorry. I'm not the sharpest tool in this fucking shit. I ain't gonna lie, but like triage, what is that? Like trilogy, like trio, fucking treehouse, tree lodge. I shit.
And prioritize the ones most critical for the campaign. So a lot of you are going to get a delayed response, but I should mostly catch up eventually. Okay, the final announcement.
If you're wondering, maybe your IQ is around the same as mine. The triage is the preliminary assessment of patients or casualties in order to determine the urgency of their need for treatment and nature of treatment. Never heard that in my life.
UK government petition has cleared 100,000 signatures. I suspect these signatures are more legit.
You know what's interesting though? And I don't know this. I'm more focused on American politics and stuff like that, and obviously the well-being of America. But a couple months ago, I had a video and I was talking about the UK in general. The amount of fucking clips I see on Twitter, crazy shit. People getting arrested from Facebook's posts and just stabbings and all this kind of shit, bro. Y'all shit. I really, even though this is gonna get pushed into Parliament, it looks like. Bro, like I told you the age gap, the generation gap, but still, like, how are they supposed to get this right when a lot of other things don't look like they're right? You know what I mean? And I got love for the UK, bro, and I'm ignorant on pretty much everything about the UK, but I just see what what gets fed to me in the feed. You know what I mean? So I'm not trying to hate on the UK, bro. Got love for y'all.
Though you can keep on signing it too as a safety margin. More will not hurt anything. So what should we expect from this? I honestly have no idea. I would bet money on the EU initiative delivering something good if it passes.
Yeah.
But the UK has been more about exhausting all options.
Yeah.
I will say whatever happens cannot be worse than the old answer from the Department of Media, Culture, and Sport.
What is this?
Yeah, we get to leapfrog over this garbage.
What the fuck?
This really is recycled garbage. Remember, we tried to launch this last year, and they gave us an answer that was so bad, it was rejected by the Petitions Committee, and they told government to try again because this didn't answer the question. But then Parliament was dissolved, and when it came back...
Oh, I remember this. And they, their answer back was it was like the same answer, but flip-flopped.
We relaunched again, we got the same answer copied and pasted into the new one.
I remember this. They literally just shuffled the deck. Same fucking answer, just shuffled that shit.
Arranged a little bit. Part of me suspects all action in the UK has been held up by one grumpy bureaucrat in the department. Well, now we can ignore that crap and head straight to Parliament.
Oh, what?
I mean, they cannot do worse than this. A member of Parliament could sneeze on the petition, and that would not be a worse answer. And that's the one guaranteed thing we'll get out of this, which is answers.
That's a bright spot right there.
Now, for those of you wanting to juice this further, it's been brought to my attention there's a page for finding out who your member of Parliament is if you want to reach out and tell them, yes, bring this up in Parliament. I'd say, yeah, that could help. But that absolutely is more work than signing your name, so I'm keeping my expectations in check.
No, bro, for real, if you have connections like that, man, and you're watching this and you're in the UK, obviously, I'm a very small creator. I doubt anybody that's watching this knows anybody in Parliament. But if you do, you've got a connection somewhere, or someone knows the guy, you know what I mean? Dude, push for that shit, because I'm telling you, the age gap between everybody, you really need these people to really understand what they're talking about and the overall state of gaming, because there's a whole different perspective that gamers actually have of video games in general versus someone that just never played video games in their life, or maybe their kids or grandkids play video games, but they look at it as a hobby, as a time killer type shit. You know what I mean? I really do think the overall perspective on video games in general is negative in the world.
There's a link in the description of this video. Okay, that's it. Just keep pushing. Now we're in the fog.
Now we're in the fog. Hell yeah, I like that. This is a very smart move by him, being transparent, man, keeping the engine running, even though you got to the destination, just keep that motherfucker running just in case, you know what I mean? Keep pushing people. Great video. Obviously, this is by Accursed Farms. Go give him a sub, man. Tell him the Ether sent you. Go give him love. Go comment on his video. The more momentum he can have for that video, the better. Shit, go rewatch it, whatever it might be. Comment down below your thoughts on the whole situation on this video as well, because even if it's not his video and people see this as well, it's just good because there's people out there that have no fucking idea. And, you know, I cover a lot of different range of things, and I probably lose subscribers because of it, because, you know, they subscribe seeing one video, and then there's another, like a politic video, and then there's a video game video, and then there's a sports video, and then there's one about, you know, space, and then there's one about AI, and I like to talk about what I like, right? And I like a lot of different things. So I'm sorry if that bugs you, all right? But it is what it is, and that's what I'm going to do. Let's look at the top comment, shall we? Everyone who thinks they made a mistake while signing or don't know if they signed or not, please get in touch with the spokesperson of the initiative via email. There are ways to solve this. Their email address is the initiative under contact persons. Thanks. Okay, well that's good for y'all to know in the EU. If you've already signed this and you're scared you might have misspelled your name or something. The EU initiative page is getting DDoSed a lot today. Jesus Christ, what? I'd say just come back another time. If it's busted, we have until the end of the month. That's not good. Edit. I've said it before, but not recently. You must be voting age to sign the initiative. Oh Jesus! So that means there's people that are of age that are misspelling their name. I really hope I don't hope there's a botting situation, because if there's a botting situation, it could be a lot more than we expect. And I expect like 10% or less, honestly. He was saying 20 and 30 and 40. I think that's ridiculous. Even with the botting system, I feel like that's a lot. That can vary by country, but it's usually 18. Okay. Act 3, the fog of war. Yep. The war is almost over, and we're at the climax pretty much right now. So yeah, great video by him, bro. I can't tell you how much that this means to me. Because I think video games are going to do a very, very good spot here in the future, but I think that people just need to have their voices heard on situations like this. Because if you think that the industry is in a bad spot right now, if you have any vibe like that, or it just could be better in general, you got to support stuff like this when it comes up. And man, there's so many other issues that we need to tackle, and I'm shocked that America hasn't had a petition. I know that like Americans, I doubt that we would hit the numbers that we need to, but I mean, a lot of these YouTubers that are getting a shit ton of views, like Moist Critical, I'm pretty sure he's in America. So who knows? Maybe we'd be able to get 1 million views easy. I don't fucking know. But yeah, comment down below your thoughts. My name is Trey Swish. This is the Ether. Hit the like button, help push this video out to more people, bring more awareness to this issue as a whole. And yeah, man, hit that sub button. Let's get to 1K. I'll see you guys in the next video. Also, Discord's in the description below. I usually have my Twitter and my Twitter and Twitch in there as well. I will be streaming probably this weekend. But I took those out because I looked at them the other day, and I have like a way that I optimize my descriptions, and it was pumping out the wrong links. So Discord's good, but those two I just removed. So I'll put those back in probably tomorrow or the next day. We'll see. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one, man. Have a good 4th of July, or if it's past that, have a great day. Peace. Deuces.